There's a Benny Man song that goes, tell me what you really know about that great man, Steve Biko. Well, there's a lot to know because this man was extraordinary, visionary, brilliant, dangerous to a system built on fear. He shook that system so hard that they had to unalive him in one of the most brutal ways imaginable. In September 2025, almost half a century after his murder, South Africa announced it would reopen the inquest into his death. 48 years later, the truth still demands to be heard. They destroyed his body, but they could not destroy his brilliance. He never led an army, never fired a bullet, yet he led one of the greatest revolutions Africa has ever seen, the revolution of the mind. Steve Biko wasn't just a freedom fighter, he was an intellectual warrior. He believed liberation begins in the mind long before it reaches the streets. He called it Black consciousness, a philosophy that told Black people to stop seeing themselves through the eyes of their oppressors and to see their own strength, their own beauty, and their own power. The most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor, he said, is the mind of the oppressed. He didn't just talk about freedom, he taught people how to think free. Black man, you are on your own. It wasn't despair, it was a declaration of pride. Once a people stop waiting for validation, no chain can hold them down. He was witty, magnetic, and fearless. When asked if he hated white people, Biko smiled and said, I'm against a system that turns people into gods and others into dogs. That was his genius, sharp, truth without bitterness, rebellion without hate. His words became fire. When the students of Soweto rose in 1976, their courage carried his philosophy. Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, Biko was the spark that lit a flame no jail could extinguish. That flame spread across borders into reggae songs, UN speeches, and the 1987 film Cry Freedom, where Denzel Washington brought his story to the world. Steve Bantu Biko was born in 1946 in Johannesburg, near King Williamstown. His father died when he was 4. His mother, Duna, worked as a domestic worker, strong, faithful, and unbreakable. Even as a child, Biko questioned everything, the church, the state, authority itself. At the University of Natal, while studying medicine, he realized the real sickness was not in people's bodies, but in their minds. He helped form the South African Students' Organization and from it, the Black Consciousness Movement. But the regime feared him, feared his words, his mind, his influence. In August 1977, police arrested him. They tortured him, beat him, and left him naked on a prison floor. On 12 September 1977, Steve Biko, the voice of a generation, was gone. 30 years old, no justice, no apology. Yet his light never went out. Today his words echo through classrooms, murals, music, and protest chants. He taught that dignity is not given, it is claimed. That blackness is not a burden, it is beauty. That consciousness is freedom. I write what I like, he said. And what he wrote still stirs the soul of a continent, still tells the young to think boldly, walk proudly, and never forget their worth. Steve Biko, the man they feared, the mind they couldn't break, he didn't just fight for freedom, he became freedom.